Has this been a fun conference or what?
Yeah.
I have learned so much, and you know what's even better than that? I've built relationships with so many of you that I hadn't met prior to this, and I know that was a big objective, wasn't it? Was for us to connect new people, people that have been here for a while, and it's been a great connection. What do you think?
Yes, I love it. I love it. Actually, one thing that I would like to share you guys is I have been in another SureSmile events before the Supply, and it was smaller events, but we always have that tradition of a family, SureSmile family, that with everybody try to help each other. And I confess that we have this meeting, it's a lot bigger. We have so much more people, but definitely I can see exactly the same family culture that we always have, we always had before. So since between the speakers, everybody respect everybody, everybody's helping, everybody's happy, having fun. So that's what we really like. We like technology. I love technology. I love orthodontics. And so that's we are here today. We are going to share this, our thoughts, our ideas. And the main topic, right, is visionary practice. We are going to try to show how we can do things a little bit different and expand our limits. I'm sure you have a question for them.
I do, but right out of the gate, it is interesting. I see automatic bias within this organization already. For instance, your side of the stage is sold out. My side of the stage is completely empty.
Well,
I'll be all right.
I can't help.
I'll be all right. I am not going to ignore you. I am not going to ignore you. You're my people right here. I do have a question for you. Patients want a lot, don't they? Our patients want a lot. What do they want? What do your patients want?
Well, convenience. They want a pretty smile. They want a nice experience. And
they want a pretty smile, a nice experience. Come on. What else? What do they want? They want what? Straight teeth. Absolutely. Yeah, great. What else? They want it fast, don't they? They want what? They want it cheap. I mean, you know, you've heard this thing, we want it fast, we want it good, we want it cheap, and we usually say you get what? 2 out of the 3, but in today's environment, that's not true, is it? Here's what we've learned. They want convenience, and they want confidence. You agree with that? I mean, when it comes down to it, sure, it's straight teeth, and sure, it's low cost, but those things are confidence things, aren't they? Those are confidence things. They also want the convenience things, don't they? How many of you attended Mike's meeting this morning at 8:30? Did I hear a woo? Yes. Over here, somebody? Well, yeah, it was about convenience and it was about confidence, and this is a big deal. So do you agree that that's what patients are wanting today? Convenience and confidence when it comes down to it? I do. And so here's what we've looked at. We've said, what are the 4 practice models that are going to deliver this? And so here's something to think about. On the left-hand side, I've got a continuum. Actually, it's going to break into a quadrant. On the left-hand side, we've got those practices that are complicated. You know these practices? It's just a complicated process, operation, all of that. And then over here on the right-hand side, we've got those practices that do some convenient things for the sake of the patient. They've been able to really deliver a convenient service for their patients. You know clinics like this? Some come to mind, I'm sure. And then on the vertical continuum, what we've got is we've got clinic-centric, or those that are big on practice management. And then finally, we've got customer-centric at the top, those that are big on the customer experience. So ask yourself, are you a clinic-centric on practice management? I know you've got to be that, but is that your primary focus, or is it that customer experience? So what do you think? In the lower left-hand corner, we all know each other. We've gotten to know each other. We've gotten to drink together. We've gotten to dance together, right? So we've seen each other at our best, and we've seen each other at our not-so-best. So this lower left-hand quadrant, how many of you are, you kind of go, my I'm there. My practice is there. I know that there's representation here. It's okay, we're safe, we're fine. Okay, nobody, great job, great job. That's good, because here's the thing. If you're in that quadrant, you're at risk. It's an old model. You may not be irrelevant today, maybe you are irrelevant today, but if you're not irrelevant today, you might be becoming irrelevant very, very soon. Lower right-hand corner. How many of you are here? You're clinic-centrics. It is about practice management way over customer experience. But you know what? You know something. You've built convenience into your processes and into your operations. How many are in this block? Yeah? Okay, a couple of you. A couple of you in that. Any others? All right, we call this, it's a rat race. It's a rat race. You're doing some really, really good things. But you're not really getting anywhere. It's kind of like that hamster on a wheel. You know, you're churning and churning and churning, and it feels good, and it feels like you're working really, really well, but you're just not going anywhere. Upper left-hand corner, we call that efficient, inefficient, not efficient, inefficient. And those are the people that still have complication in their processes and management, but they are customer-centric. So good stuff, it's not fluid yet. It's inefficient. And then finally, how many of you are in this upper right-hand corner? Come on. There's like 3 people that have responded to this question. All right. All right. Upper right-hand corner. Anybody else? How many of you want to be in this upper right-hand corner? 4 of you. That's awesome. I want all of you to be in this upper right-hand quadrant. So this is what we call dominant. And we're here to dominate. We're here to dominate digital, and we're here to dominate digital with a visionary practice. And so that's where we put the king of the jungle, you know, up there in that spot. So you've got convenience and you've got customer. What companies come to mind here? You know companies that are customer-centric and convenient. Dr. A.
Me?
Yeah.
I like coffee. I like coffee, so Starbucks.
Is Starbucks a customer-centric and convenient company? Why? What do they do? They customize every single order. How in the world do they do that? They get millions and millions and millions of people every day, and they're customizing every single order. That's customer-centric. What else do they do? If you're like me, you get in line at Starbucks, and you're number 8. I'm always number 8 in line. And by the time I get up to the register and I order, there's 20 people that have passed me. And what are they doing? They're walking in. They're not paying for it at all. And I'm like, don't you need to like hand over some money or something? And they're just walking in. They're grabbing their cup. They're not even saying hi. How rude. And then they just kind of walk out the door, and I'm like, what's going on? So what is that? You've probably figured this out.
It's the app, for sure. They just order the app, go there. It's already paid for, and just grab it and leave.
They're making it really convenient. I just haven't taken advantage of it. So Starbucks is a great one. Who else? Who else? Who else has nailed this convenience and confidence?
All right.
Amazon. We heard that. Where's Mike? Mike? Yeah, so Mike had a cool video today. Amazon Go. Have you guys seen Amazon Go? Has anybody used Amazon Go? Really cool. You go in there, you don't talk to anybody, you scan your phone, you pick up whatever items you want, and then you get out of there. Amazon is a great one. How about this one? I don't rent a car anymore. I don't think you guys rent a car anymore either. If you rented a car to come here, raise your hand. Oh, thank you so much for your honesty. That was really good. We're not renting cars anymore. Uber is this. And then we've got Amazon that is changing it's just disrupted the retail model completely. There you go, Dr. A.
Oh, yes, Starbucks.
There's Starbucks. I have a really important question to ask you. Can the dental industry drive convenience and be that customer-centric? Like for real? What do you think? Can the dental industry drive that kind of convenience and be that customer-centric? Yes? No? What? Yeah?
Yes.
Really? All right, so here's the thing. If it can, then why not us? Why not us? It's gonna take a catalyst, isn't it? To move the needle on our industry to drive to this confidence and this convenience, it's gonna take a catalyst. We can let somebody else do it because somebody else is gonna do it, but why not us? Would you agree? I mean, isn't that a compelling challenge for us? Here's the thing. It's gonna take, just like there were 4 times of practices, it's gonna take 4 times of leaders. And here's where I'm gonna get in trouble, because some of you are gonna not like me after this, and I'm very, very sorry. But on the horizontal continuum, we've got those people who are locally networked and have a local influence. And then we've got those people who are globally networked and have that global influence, right? And on the vertical continuum, what we've got is we've got people who are fixed to their brick and mortar. All right, they're tethered. They're tethered to their 4th and Main Street office or practice. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. But there's a better thing. There's a better thing. And that better thing is that we are free. And we'll talk about what that means. Are you fixed? Are you tethered to your 4th and Main office? Or are you free to be able to deliver your service, to deliver that patient care anywhere, anytime, in the way that you want to? That's what we're looking for there. And we've got a great example up on stage who has done this very, very well. So if you look in that lower left-hand quadrant, how many of you are in that one? This is where I'm gonna get in trouble. Nobody's gonna, thank you, God, it's so good to see transparent, vulnerable people. Thank you, because knowing is half the battle, right? So here's what we've got. We've got Dr. Old. It's not like age old, it's just old-fashioned. All right, there's an old business model there. There's a lot of, it's prior tradition. But it's Dr. Old when we're fixed and when we're locally minded. Here's a cool thing. If you're tethered to your business, if you're tethered to your practice, but you do have global influence, you do have global connections, then that's Dr. Almost. You're almost there. You're making great promise. How many of you fit this one? I think a lot of you fit this one, right? How about the upper left-hand corner? You've got that local mindset. You've got that local network. But you've built in some conveniences, you've built in some freedom, you've built in you're not so tethered to your organization. Still locally connected, but you've worked out some things. You're comfortable, right? This is the practice that's comfortable, and we say it's Dr. Chill. Just Dr. Chill. Just laid back, comfortable, not making any waves. How about in the upper right-hand corner? How many of you are here? How many of you want to be here? Ow! Thank you. There we go. All right, so here we've got Dr. Dominant, and that's why that Dr. Dominant wears shades. I like to think of this as not Dr. Dominant, but my good friend Dr. A right here, so I'm glad to have him up on stage. Dr. A has been free. He's definitely globally connected. He is. I mean, I just walk the halls with him, and I'm meeting 100 people. And they're like his best friends, and everybody, and he's always asking me to take pictures with his best friends, you know, and I'm like, gosh, you know a lot of people. But he's globally connected from people all over the world. But not only that, he's also not tethered to a brick and mortar practice, and it's really, really powerful. So, Dr. Dominant, anything to add? Feel good?
Oh, keep going.
All right, so here's the deal. There are some, if those are the 4 different types of practice leaders, then I want to talk about the characteristics of those 4 types of leaders. Don't we love curious people? Why do we love curious people? Why do we love them? They're very, very smart. Interestingly enough, anytime you're in the room, you kind of go, is the smartest person the person that asks the best questions, or is the smartest person in the room the person that races to give the right answer? Which one? Ask the questions. The smartest people are the ones that ask the right questions. So when I think about, and by the way, when we think about curious, we're not just talking about casually curious. We're talking about being ridiculously curious. ridiculously curious, sensationally curious. So I want to talk about those people. And the first place I want to start is just this idea of reflective. So reflective is all about what you know. And there is a lot of knowledge in this room. It's what you know. And when you're reflective, you've got a database in your head. And that database in your head is either full of spectacular information or it's empty. What do you think makes it full of spectacular information? What gives your brain a fullness of spectacular information? What is it? Experiences. Absolutely, experiences. So here's the great thing about highly curious people. They do a lot of stuff. Everybody know Bill Gates? All right, Bill Gates, the founder of Microsoft, guess what? He's not just a computer geek. He's not. He's into linguistics. He's into math. I think he has a pig farm. I think. And he takes the knowledge that he gathers from all of this other stuff, well, and he applies it to his business. So I'm an aerobatic pilot. I've done several years of flying aerobatics. I'm not that good. I'm the B-level aerobatic pilot. But this TV guy comes to me one day and he said, we want to film a spin. And he goes, I'm going to bring my camera. Will you take me up? And I said, heck yeah. That sounds like a blast. I've never filmed a spin. So he shows up. I had an extra 300. And so the way that works is you've got one, he sits in the front and I fly it from the back. And he shows up. And I said, did you bring the straps for the camera? And he said, no, I'm a big dude. You know, I don't need straps. It's just 20 pounds. I said, it's about to weigh 200 pounds. And so he goes, well, there's this bar on the plane. I'll just set it on that bar. And I'm thinking, okay, hope this goes well. That's why I'm not an A pilot. So I start the engines, we take off, and I'm like, okay, this doesn't happen very often where you get a cameraman for a TV station that wants to film a spin. So we get up to 15,000 feet. And I'm wanting to do something really kind of crazy. I'm going to do a power on spin. How many pilots we have in here? Yeah? So you know what a power on spin is, right? So what you do is you can either do a power off spin or a power on spin. If it's a power on spin, what you do is you fly full power until that plane cannot climb anymore. And when it gets to that point where it can't fly anymore, any higher, it starts to shake. And once it starts to shake, you do something really, really stupid. You pound on that rudder pedal so that you can kick the tail out, and then you put that stick right in your gut. And it goes sideways, and then it goes upside down, and you're supposed to do a third thing. And that's cut the power when the plane starts to spin downward. I forgot the third thing because I am so concerned about that camera that I forgot the third thing. And so here's what's bad about forgetting the third thing. Is when that power, when you're trying to put it in a spin and you cut that power off, then the nose can dip down. And then you can kind of spin it like this. If you leave the power on, the nose won't dip down and it'll get stuck like in this. So what that's called is an inverted flat spin. Top Gun, anybody? Top Gun? Yeah. Appropriate for here at Miramar, San Diego. So yeah, that's how Goose died. That's how we lost Goose. And when you think about that, if you saw that movie, you remember how violent it was? It was really violent. Inverted flat spins are very, very violent. So what happened is it took my helmet and it threw it way to the back. My radio's in my helmet. It took my passenger's helmet. I didn't know what happened to the camera, but the helmet went way in the back. And so we couldn't talk to each other at that point. Our heads are just banging on either side of the canopy, and all I can see is the altimeter, you know, that thing, that circular dial that measures your altitude. All I can see is it just going down and down. So it's like 9,000 feet, 8,000 feet, 7,000 feet, 5,000 feet, 3,000 feet. And I remember at that point I did a little math. I don't know how I did math at this point, but I'm thinking I have 5 seconds. There's 5 seconds before I kill him and me both. And at that point, I think my survival instincts kicked in or something like that, and it's just like, Mike, it's process. It's process, you know process. Power off, opposite rudder, stick to neutral. So I did that. And the plane recovered at 2,000 feet, perfect. So while I'm flying level at 2,000 feet, I'm reaching back there to try to get my helmet back on, and he's trying to get his helmet back on, and we finally get back on, and now we can talk to each other. And so I finally got a chance to say, you want to go again? He said, no, thank you. Land this plane. But what I loved about that is I'll never forget how important simple process is. And thankfully, I have that data in my mind. And I can recall on that anytime I need it, anytime I need to apply that to any number of situations. So highly reflective people do lots of stuff. They do a lot of different stuff because they want to build that database. The next one is just this idea of receptive. So if reflective is about what I know, then receptive is about what you know. What you know. What do you start with? Do you start with reflection or do you start with reception? How many of you start with reflection? How many of you start with reception? You start with reflection. You start with what you know. It's really, really important to start with what you know, because here's the thing. Don't we hate those meetings where somebody calls a meeting and they show up and they say, I don't know, what are we doing? I don't have any thoughts on this. I came here to learn your thoughts on it. We don't like that, do we? We want people to show up with a point of view. We want people to reflect on their own database and come to the meeting and share it along with everybody else. So in the process, there's you start with reflection, and then you go to reception, what everybody knows, what everybody else knows. Never start with reflection and stop. You know, always be receptive to other people's. But how do we do this? When we think of curiosity, Dr. A, how are we doing? How are we doing in that one? Just being curious.
Sure.
You've got
some I'm kind of loving. Keep it going.
All right.
Your stories. Well, how to be curious, right? And over here, it's kind of a game. It's not a game, but how many of you guys know that there is a hidden symbol in this logo that we probably see every single day? And actually, FedEx is partnership. It's a partnership with SureSmile, actually. So we definitely see how many times per day? I don't know. A lot of times. But there is an arrow. How many? Raise your hands. Everybody's seeing the arrow? It's right here. Right here. So it means speed and precision. Speed and precision. So the point here is that we can see this every day, and sometimes we are not seeing everything. So that's the way we start. We are inside our own practice. We have the industry, we have the market, we have the techniques. And we see every day, but maybe we don't see something that is right in front of you. So that's why we are going to start our visionary practice. You know, try to show something that probably some of you guys are doing, some already are thinking to do, but some of them is right there and you're not seeing anything. So let's talk about car industry. And it's not long time ago that BMW, for example, was like it's a great car. I had one. A lot of people, Americans, loved BMW. So that's what we have, not too much time ago. But if you really think, there is a few changes in only 2 decades. Tesla, in a short time, became the most valuable car company in the industry. Why? Innovation. Everything we are saying. You know, it's convenient. It's convenient. The car is minimalist. I love it. I am minimalist by myself, so I love it. It's super cool and super functional, and they completely change the car industry. And also, it's something that we have in common in our practice and on the car. It's a software. Awesome, right? So literally, the car is like a software on the wheels, okay? So let's talk about, I like to look to the side. So car industry, maybe food industry. Let's talk a little bit about food industry. They work with service, like us, actually. But something probably even bigger or as big as what happened with the car industry, it happened also on the food industry. I'm not talking about $8 or $10 billion, for example, in a few next years on the aligners market, for example. I'm talking about 365 billion revolution. Cloud kitchens, or also is well known as ghost restaurants. How many of you guys are familiar with those definitions? It's kind of new, right? It's not new, that's what I'm saying. It's already there. It's already there. So the difference is there is no physical restaurant. They focus on delivery only. So what are going, if you are a chef, instead of you open a regular restaurant, you go there, you need to build, choose the place, and it has like a restaurant, employee. They don't do that. It's a ghost restaurant, what they do. They go in somewhere else and just make the kitchen. Just make the kitchen. And what's the focus is on delivery. So they deliver, make connections, they cook and deliver. They cook, deliver. They cook, deliver. That's why it's ghost restaurants, okay? So use the app, it's convenient, it's super smart, okay? They don't have a lot of costs. It's fantastic. That's why this evolution is not $1, $2, $3 billion in the next few years, but 365 billions. Because a lot of people are doing that. They finish, even the big chains of restaurants, if you want to have a satellite or to do another in another city, sometimes you don't need to invest a lot on the restaurant. You just can do one place, even some partnerships. And actually, usually it's common in one of these ghosts or cloud kitchens, we have more than one chef, for example, working together. So even share the costs. So, and why that? Because everybody is using smartphones. The delivery is really strong. So if we see orthodontics, are we asking actually enough questions ourselves about what's really going on with our market? I know that we are going to get there and say, what else, everything that's happened, and how we need to do something different. We definitely need to do something different from now on. If you see orthodontists, we are probably the oldest specialty. I'm talking about more than 100 years. And the way that we were taught, the way we think, we have fences. We always have limits, limits in the way we work, how we work, even technicians. And it's about time to think global, beyond the fence. So it's connecting with everything you just said. That's what we need. That's what we need. We need to change and start to see with a different perspective.
Gosta de estudar com o professor Adriano Marotta Araujo? Eu também. Então não perca a dica do Inset de hoje, onde você vai aprender tudo sobre alinhadores invisíveis aí no conforto de sua casa. E o melhor, podendo revisar por 6 meses. Fique ligado! O Orthoi Aligners Webinars tem vagas limitadas. A primeira edição acabaram as vagas em menos de uma semana. Então não perca a oportunidade. E no Orthoi Aligners Webinars você vai aprender em mais de 20 horas de videoaulas, são 6 episódios. Vai ter a oportunidade de assistir mais 2 cursos em HD na plataforma que todo mundo gosta, que é a plataforma do Inset, um ambiente de aprendizagem individualizado. Não basta só ter aula em app não, hein galera? Tem que ter um conteúdo denso, um conteúdo bacana e, lógico, uma plataforma individualizada para os ortodontistas. O Inset já faz isso há mais de 7 anos. Então vai lá, se matricula, o link para se matricular está aqui na descrição do vídeo, procura lá o Orthoi Aligners Webinars e não perca a chance de participar desse mega curso online promovido pela Orthoi. Além das 20 horas de videoaulas, além de todos os cursos online que vão estar disponíveis sem custo adicional para você, que são mais 2 cursos, Alinhadores Invisíveis e Seja um Ortodontista Digital, o professor Adriano vai fazer uma live QA, de perguntas e respostas. Olha, essa live é muito bacana. Só para você ter ideia, numa mesma live, foi tão individualizado para cada aluno, para cada colega que estava lá, que o professor Adriano sugeriu que um ortodontista usasse empresas terceirizadas para oferecer alinhadores invisíveis no seu consultório, e para outro aluno, na mesma live de perguntas e respostas, ele indicou que fosse feito no in-house. O próprio ortodontista fabricasse os seus alinhadores oferecendo para os ortodontistas. É isso aí, alinhadores é um mundo, a gente tem que aprender, e o professor Adriano ensina com maestria no Orthoi Aligners Webinars. São 6 episódios, saca só: biomecânica do plástico, movimento dentário digital, planejamento avançado, anatomia digital e attachments, estagiamento e refinamento e produção in-house de alinhadores invisíveis. Além de tudo isso, você conta também com a monitoria online, com vídeos diários feitos exclusivamente para o grupo que estiver matriculado ali no app de conversas online. Tá, pessoal? O presente é transparente e o futuro é brilhante. Vai na descrição aqui do vídeo, clica no Orthoi Aligners Webinar e a gente se encontra nessa próxima edição. Vagas limitadas, hein, pessoal? Um abraço e até a próxima dica do Inset.
I am Brazilian. I have my practice in Brazil. It's Orthoi Dental Studio, actually in São Paulo. I have as well a training center, is together, as I'm a faculty, PhD. So I love what I'm doing right now, and I love to teach. I like technology, like I said. So I have a training center together with my practice. But there is something different. I don't live in the same country that where is my practice. I live right there, or somewhere nearby here in Texas, actually. So I live in Texas, in Dallas. So how I can do that? How I can do that? So for SureSmile doctors, they already, of course, you work with SureSmile, so you can remote control your practice, right? And when we are talking about planning, we have done this forever, SureSmile doctors, right? SureSmile doctors, we just do planning from whatever we want to be. So that's why I really love it. It needs to be web-based. So the first thing I thought myself, I need a system, a solution that is web-based. What does it mean web-based? You don't need to download a software and has a powerful computer to run a software. You just right now, if I go there and grab and log in, it's working. I can write it's web-based, it's on the cloud. Right? But this is, a lot of people think that this is the must. Like, this is the best that we have. This is digital. This is digital. Actually, this is nothing new because I have been doing this since 2014.
And being present for life's most important
So
moments.
that was a video that we did where we were improving the training and everything. SureSmile Ortho now was telemetrics.
As well as you take care of your patients. Now stop imagining. Get the only complete orthodontic treatment program that allows you to take the chair with you, to decide where you spend your time. Go digital. Get freedom. Elemetrics.
And SureSmile Ortho. So go digital, get freedom. This is really strong. So we go again, free, global.
Absolutely.
Right? I'm gonna share with you guys a story. It's not as cool as Tom Cruise over there, about the pilot thing. He kind of looked like Tom Cruise, actually. I kind of like it. Let's meet Lisa. So, of course, she was young, and this story probably happens with us orthodontists every single day. So, Lisa actually, she wants pretty smile, like you said. What the patients want? They want a pretty smile. There it is. So, if they are young and they need a dentist, where they're gonna looking for? The first thing they do it, Google, right? They go into Google, and then you have like several dentists to choose. So that's SureSmile Doctor. Okay, that's SureSmile Doctor. We are different. We are different. We are trying to do everything you said. We are not there yet, Mike, but we are, everybody here, that's why we are here, to try to do the lion, to do everything. And confess myself, I'm not there. I'm trying to go there, and I think we are in the right direction. Everybody else. So I just got an email, like I just over there, has the form, and this patient actually, that's my form in my email. I just got the email, the coordinator got the email, and then she's saying that she went to the dentist, and the dentist told her that actually she needed to use orthodontist appliance, offer her the Invisalign, she wanted aligners, and she had lingual before, and she had class 2 malocclusion, and she needed to do actually surgery. So she got kind of a little bit confused with all this information. She wasn't that precise because she already knew that she needed the surgery, so she went to the dentist, and then she told that she needed to use a liner. So they have a question. They needed to answer these questions. So she just contacted us that she want to set up appointment, right? The first appointment. Until there is nothing different than everybody else, right? That's happened with us every single day. But there is something different with Lisa. Lisa was living 36 hours car from my practice. And she want to answer, can I use aligners and do my surgery? And she want to answer, she want a first appointment right now to do that. That's the way I work. I have like a form, I live in my website. And the patients, they can do first appointment virtually with a video conference. That's what she wrote over there. I like the way I can do my first appointment because I don't need to get a plane or drive 36 hours to find me, right? If it was old, of course, she could I heard people saying really well about you, and maybe I'm gonna go there. And we have situations like that too. We have patients from other cities that come. Well, the thing is, so that's the way I do it. This is my practice today. It's like a boutique type of practice. So, and I have in my schedule today some patients, and I got over there. Usually I see, I used to have like a large practice a few years ago. Actually, I'm doing 25 years old, 25 years of professional dentistry. And so I had my practice was with 4 chairs, and after when I became digital and I literally put my practice on the cloud, I downsized, and now I have just 1 chair. It's like a boutique type of practice, okay? And I see 27 patients per day. But of course, IDB, aligners, hybrid. Everything, I know exactly how much time we're gonna do it, okay? But when I see all that, some of the patients, it's virtual. So when I am there in Brazil, inside my practice, I have some patients, and then the coordinator. The next one is virtual. Sometimes I have the system that you can, the video conference system. I just sit down and talk with the patients. It's really effective. Actually, sometimes I really prefer to talk with someone or do training on video conference because I have just one like that, and you pay attention, you know, and there is nothing else. The patient is looking at you, and of course, I share a screen. And I love to use the Zoom, if someone is going to ask really soon, so I can record as well. And by the way, the Zoom system for video conference is for free. And today, they don't even need to download and install anything. Just right now, I can send you a link, you just push it, you start to talk to you. It's that fast. It's that fast. So that's what I did with her. So I say, okay, so we did this, and usually, I can sometimes do this virtual appointment faster than the other one, because if they want to see me, I'm booked in the next 2 days. But if I need like 30 minutes or 15 minutes, and I can do virtually. So that's what's happened with her. In a few days, I already explained everything, how we did, and then we got, in Brazil, we have image centers everywhere, because it's not like over here, like the digital, the intraoral camera, everybody's starting to buy now. So they don't have, but they have image centers, it's like hospitals that we have here. You can go there and do the exams. That's what she did and sent to me. So I was about, once I got everything explained, I send them the fee and everything, and then I pass to the coordinator. They do everything online. Since there, it was everything digital. We didn't even use the phone. And of course, once I got everything, I approach and then I upload to the SureSmile. So, Mike, like you were saying, our curiosity made possible. I like that. A new level, a completely different. I don't do this for every patient, but I need to be open. I need to prepare for that. Freedom. For both, for the first time, for both, for the doctor and for the patient. And like you said, a global approach that brought us a new opportunities. So I probably, a few years ago, I would never get this patient. She was going to say, hey, I can go there, so I'm going to find. And believe me, like aligners, doctors, Super Diamond Plus, they are right on the corner and her. Really good. I know some of them in her city. And she just contacted us because we were open for new opportunities. But to get there, we need resourceful. So you are the man.
Yeah. What's interesting is, remember my Starbucks example where I'm 8th in line and all the other 20 people are passing me by and not talking to anybody? Lisa's a perfect, and I said, is the dental industry capable of delivering on that? There's a perfect example of the dental industry delivering on that. Because I don't know if you said this or not, maybe you did, but Dr. A's never, ever, 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 ever met Lisa, ever. And she's had the most amazing care. And she's so happy, and he cashed a pretty good check, a really good check. You know, for that. So that model, Lisa's a great model of really building that convenience and even giving him freedom in order to deliver that exceptional service. So I don't think that we lose a level of service by going the convenience route. I think we actually increase it. But you gotta be able to imagine that stuff. The other thing you've got to be able to do is you've got to be resourceful, vastly resourceful. How many I know there's a lot of you that know this show, MacGyver, right? That's pretty good. Any younger people know the show MacGyver? If you don't know MacGyver, how about MacGruber? Saturday Night Live sketch, you know, the playoff of MacGyver. But here's the great thing about MacGyver. MacGyver could do so much with a very little. He could be in a horrible situation, but if he had a rubber band and a paperclip, he could defuse any bomb, you know, that he was about to be exploded by. He would just be able to solve it like that. He was really, really resourceful. Whatever he had in his pocket. I think in this profession, all of us have got to also be very, very resourceful. So when I put this slide up, which one, you know, on this side, you've got those people that they are so globally connected. They've got lots of resources all over the world. Or on this side, you got Parkway Dentistry. Brick and mortar, locally focused. Which one's more resourceful? Which one? Thank you. The one over here, right? The one over here is more resourceful. So let's talk about what we can do to be more resourceful. First of all, what it's going to take is it's going to take imagination, and that is a weird word, I know, when we talk about business. But the ones that are getting ahead, the Ubers of the world, the Starbucks of the world, the Amazon, I guarantee you they spend a ton of time in imagination. How about you? How you doing on imagination? I mean, is it all show up, dive into the technical nature of the job, and not be imaginative about your business? If so, boy, you got to work that in. You got to work some imagination time in. How many of you are familiar with the term called skunk works? Ever heard of skunk works? So the military does a lot of skunk works projects, and sometimes they freak us out a little bit. But these skunk works projects is they take a bunch of officers and they put them in this warehouse and they said, just dream, just think up stuff. Just dream about it. Ask the what if, the why not. What are the possibilities? Don't have any limitations on it. That sounds like a really fun job to me, doesn't it? So they get to dream up stuff. And if you're familiar with the B-2 bomber, that started in a warehouse that nobody knew about, top secret, and it was called Skunk Works. And it changed the game for our military. Changed the game. Introduced the whole stealth philosophy. That started with the Skunk Works. That started with imagination. So you got to build in that creative space. Stephen King, probably one of the most famous authors, he says the most valuable part of his day is spending 1 hour every day in that imagination space, in that creative space. Sometimes we don't view that as productive time. I got to tell you, it's really productive time. Make sure you're spending that time in imagination. And the next one is just inclusive. And when we think about inclusive, here's the deal, and I'm really bad at this. I'm really bad at this because I fall in love with my ideas like crazy. I'll come up with an idea and I'll say, gosh, that was really good. And so I've got my idea, and I kind of just sit there and think about how amazing it is for a while. But every time, 100% of the time, if I take the time and share that with other people and grab their insights and get their ideas added to my ideas, then we get the wow idea. I mean, it's the really amazing, powerful, cool idea. So spend time in that idea phase, but don't stop with that. Also add other people, and that's where that global network really comes in. That global network is really, really important. And then the last one when we think about this is inventive. If you're a Disney fan, Disney created this word called Imagineering. Ever heard of it? So I talked about imagination at the front, about how important that is. But what Disney did is they said, well, it can't just stop with imagination. It's also got to go to engineering, because don't we just get a little bit frustrated by those people that come up to us and said, have this brilliant idea, drop it at your feet, say good luck with that, tell me when it's done, you're welcome. They're just the idea people. They can't execute any of it. We love those people that can do both. We love those people that can come up with the ideas, share them with us, make them better, and then actually build on them. Disney named their R&D, their research and development organization, they call it Disney Imagineering. And if you think about it, research is the imagination side, engineering is the development side. the building side. And so they build all of their theme parks based on this Imagineering thing. So they think up these brilliant ideas for a theme park or a theme ride or a theme experience, and then they're also the ones that build it. I think I've seen this happen, and I mean, I gotta tell you, I look at SureSmile, and there is a lot of wild, crazy, awesome innovation. Some of the tools, some of the technologies, some of the resources that you guys have are spectacular, and we just gotta leverage them or use them to our benefit.
Sure, sure. Well, that's super powerful. Imagination and inventions. It's getting hard for me. It's getting hard for me. But let's see this video. I love those videos from Facebook, or they sometimes, make us laugh, but sometimes make us think as well.
Many spectators here on course, they're all fueled up. That's a nice gate start there from the 19 plate, getting out ahead. We're going to see there for the RSP team, giving it the beans out over that pretzel. Big fat whip. Oh, but it's too much. Oh, that's going to be
Bombed it loud, another round of shots. Bombed it loud, another round of shots. Bombed it loud, another round of shots. Turn down for what? Turn down for what?
Look at that. Look.
That's imagination.
Imagination and skill. Actually, I love it. That's what we are doing actually, SureSmile, right? We are going, like everybody's going that, we're going to go in completely around with a lot of skill, innovation, and technology. We jump in front of everybody. You want an example? Let's talk about the models that we have. Talking about, SureSmile is naturally like you said, inventive. They work really well that. All the engineers, like you said, Imagineers. Thanks God, all those engineers and everybody, all the employees. And you can see now how we can have a really crystal, talking about aligners. Why? Because the carbon, it's one this new technology we were saying is like, actually they in some types of impressions, they can be even 100 times faster than regular printer. And they don't make layers like the 3D printing. They make the product like you're gonna making growing up. And what do you get? You get this. That's the clip technology that they say. That's the clip technology. When you can make your aligners, and you guys can order that model, or you can order the SureSmile aligner well. So when someone say about aligner transparency, I'm sorry, Mike, I had to put some clinical pictures. I'm orthodontist. I need to see every 30, 40 minutes, I need to see some teeth. So those guys, they don't like it. No, it's ugly.
He said this isn't a presentation unless there's blood somewhere.
But it's okay. I want to show that we have other solutions, that's for me kind of old solutions, and look how cool is this aligner. Well, that's what I'm saying. We are going to going around, jumping, and got there. Even in the same direction, let's see about robotic. We have the robotic aligners, but now we have the robotic aligner laser trimming. And that is making a huge difference. And then we can control, like we have in 7.6, we'll awesome, and we just, everybody is like me, super excited. I am on the beta test as well, but I want to go back and starting to do my aligners design and control my gingival edge trimming. And this is huge, and I love biomechanics. I come to a really strong program in Brazil with adult treatment and biomechanics and segmented arch. And then when we talk about torque control, system of force, look over there. How you can have a torque control if you don't even touch the full surface of the tooth. Sometimes we need a different way to do the same thing. Again, we're going to go around and offer both. So this is huge. And what I like what you said, and I just copy. My idea is good, but our idea is better. Our idea. So I try always to work as a team. When I do my video conferences, not only with the patients, and let's go back to the same Lisa, meeting Lisa, the same case, I had video conferencing, talking with the entire team. Okay, I can actually have a lunch and talk with them, or some of them I don't need to talk. It was a surgical case I needed to discuss. It was GP and orthodontist, because the orthodontist was, sometimes I'm giving training, but sometimes I have a partner, I have associate, is full-time in Brazil. Okay, that's really important, I'm gonna show right now. Okay, so once I have one platform, and I did all that, that's why I love also SureSmile. You know, I'm not saying all the features, cool features that we have technical, but I'm showing how SureSmile is making me able to fly and go further, you know, and because it's a software, and it give all this control and give all this ability that we have. A little bit different than time. When I talk with my patients, once I did all this planning as a team, and I even called the GP, and I say, hey, I can help you. It's a surgical case. I'm going to do, well, she's not close to me, so if she needs something, she's going to looking for you. I can help you anytime. Anytime. Well, so my second video conference, I was actually in Dallas. I flew back to Dallas. Because I go to my practice, see physically and personally my patients 3 times a year, 3 or 4, so I see my patients every 3 months. But my associate is over there, and he's there all the time. So if he needs something, he's doing all the physical first consultation as well. So that's what we did. That's the planning. So I started to share. That's what we do. The first thing I do, I simulate the surgery first. Right? Once I simulate surgery first, we can do this with SureSmile. So, and then I have all the tools. I have the face, smile design. So every patient, I simulate a surgical case that I think I can do a surgery. I try to do surgery first on the screen, virtually. And over there, when I simulate, guys gonna see, when I simulate, I can see exactly what's gonna happen after surgery, all the occlusal punctures. When I saw all the occlusal punctures, when it become all red, and I see how much I need to do my pre-orthodontic planning. Okay, so this is not a diagnostic, so I'm gonna keep going, but it's all together. So there it is. This is my associate, my partner, he's there all the time. So he does the clinical part, and I'm doing the planning, and when I can, I do also the first appointments, and I do virtual appointments. So I talk with her 2 more times through video conference, and she went 2 times in my practice. The first one to get the aligners and to talk with the oral surgeon, and the second one, she went to do the surgery, and because it was local, it was in the same, in my city. You probably are thinking, well, all this technology sometimes, you know what, it could be cold, could be, you know, I'm kind of losing the experience. Definitely not. The patients, they love to know that they can talk to you anytime. And also, there is another orthodontist there all the time. And what I do, sometimes we need to do old school. So on her birthday, I just sent a card, an old card we put on the mail and send. Remember, you used to do for everybody instead of like to do something different. So she just got it, and she sent, actually I think this is another page, but she sent us a picture and say, how nice, I got this and I love it. And another thing, after the surgery, the day after the surgery, I sent flowers for the hospital for her. Today, app again, flowers, 3 seconds, boom, she's there. So I can give a super nice and great patient experience and use the technology together, and the patients love that. So in summary, I think as you as a resourcefulness made possible, have more collaboration and become more connected. We use technology to our advantage. We are become master in diagnostics. We are. That's the way to go. That's the way. When I did that planning and show, you know what? She never even asked names of brands of appliance, brackets, or anything. They are, oh my God, that's awesome. I saw everything. When can I start? And digital freedom. After I get all that, I am, for example, Invisalign free 3 years and counting. So this is all cool, right? We talk about innovation, but sometimes you say, but Adriano, how am I going to learn all that? You said like you have been doing like about all the aligners and doing surgical case with aligners. So we have the SureSmile U, again, innovation that you're saying. You know, this is great too. This is great and becoming better and better every single week. We have updates every single week. And we have a project that we are doing that are going to change the way we teach and learn orthodontics virtually. Let's take a look. This is Constanzo, for real. You ready? So we are going to change the way we do and teach orthodontics.
When patients don't wear the retainers, shift happens. Don't stop retaining.
Morning, ladies. How is everything?
Hi, Dr. G.
What I do is I'm just gonna double check the in between the teeth to make sure that they're not too tight so that they'll slide.
So we've done the simulation, we've done the stage models. So let's talk about actually making our patients happy and finishing the case.
That is a
Shaling. Where is he?
for 3D printing. If she's anywhere else and decides she needs new retainers, she can send the STL files to the orthodontic office, have them printed out, make the retainer, never having met them, go in for the very first time, just pick up a set of retainers.
That stage number 1, I have these 2 types of movements, and they are synergetic.
The better they know your practice, the more successful your practice will be.
Challenge Mommies!
I challenge you to floss.
Okay. Good boy.
I love it. I love it, the way they finish. Awesome.
Gosta de estudar com o professor Adriano Marotta Araujo? Eu também. Então não perca a dica do Insert de hoje, onde você vai aprender tudo sobre alinhadores invisíveis aí no conforto de sua casa. E o melhor, podendo revisar por 6 meses. Fique ligado! O Orthoi Aligners Webinars tem vagas limitadas. A primeira edição acabaram as vagas em menos de uma semana. Então não perca a oportunidade. E no Orthoi Aligners Webinars você vai aprender em mais de 20 horas de videoaulas, são 6 episódios. Vai ter a oportunidade de assistir mais 2 cursos em HD na plataforma que todo mundo gosta, que é a plataforma do Inset, um ambiente de aprendizagem individualizado. Não basta só ter aula em app não, hein galera? Tem que ter um conteúdo denso, um conteúdo bacana e, lógico, uma plataforma individualizada para os ortodontistas. O Inset já faz isso há mais de 7 anos. Então vai lá, se matricula, o link para se matricular está aqui na descrição do vídeo, procura lá o Orthoi Aligners Webinars e não perca a chance de participar desse mega curso online promovido pela Orthoi. Além das 20 horas de videoaulas, além de todos os cursos online que vão estar disponíveis sem custo adicional para você, que são mais 2 cursos, Alinhadores Invisíveis e Seja um Ortodontista Digital, o professor Adriano vai fazer uma live QA, de perguntas e respostas. Olha, essa live é muito bacana. Só para você ter ideia, numa mesma live, foi tão individualizado para cada aluno, para cada colega que estava lá, que o professor Adriano sugeriu que um ortodontista usasse empresas terceirizadas para oferecer alinhadores invisíveis no seu consultório, e para outro aluno, na mesma live de perguntas e respostas, ele indicou que fosse feito no in-house. O próprio ortodontista fabricasse os seus alinhadores, oferecendo para os ortodontistas. É isso aí, alinhadores é um mundo, a gente tem que aprender, e o professor Adriano ensina com maestria no Orthoi Aligners Webinars. São 6 episódios. Saca só! Biomecânica do plástico, movimento dentário digital, planejamento avançado, anatomia digital e attachments, estagiamento e refinamento e produção in-house de alinhadores invisíveis. Além de tudo isso, você conta também com a monitoria online, com vídeos diários feitos exclusivamente para o grupo que estiver matriculado ali no app de conversas online. Tá, pessoal? O presente é transparente e o futuro é brilhante. Vai na descrição aqui do vídeo, clica no Orthoi Aligners Webinar e a gente se encontra nessa próxima edição. Vagas limitadas, hein, pessoal? Um abraço e até a próxima dica do Inset.
Actually, we're going to be in Atlanta AAO. We're already open to start this course, and we're going to use all this great material for training, for everything. So I'm super excited in that. But we cannot stop. And I think we need to go in progress. So, back to you.
So 2 questions. One, wasn't it, maybe a statement, wasn't it really cool to see, I think the personal touch with technology is a huge thing. And you can either say, gosh, if we move to this digital, are we going to lose the personal touch? Or do we leverage digital in order to create an even better patient experience? And I think what you're finding ways is how do you even not just make sure you don't sacrifice that, but how do you even improve upon it by leveraging digital? The question I do have is I did see that map from Brazil to Dallas, and then I saw all those yellow dots. Did you all see all those yellow marker dots, all that? I can't help but say, is that every place you went as you were delivering your care and solution? Because I saw Cabo in there, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Well, I have some, well, I put some on Google, you're saying?
Yeah.
Some of them, they are some practices that I'm helping them.
Yeah.
Some of them, so different categories. So it's not exactly all patients. They are not all patients.
It's a great example of just being globally connected, having that global network, and seeing it on a map is really, really powerful. So yeah, I mean, progress driven. We've got to be about progress, about creating that momentum. So here's the thing, when we think about progress driven, I have a question. What's the difference between being driven for progress and being driven by progress? What's the difference? One is proactive and the other is reactive. So proactive is being driven for progress, and being reactive is waiting on it, is it not? So being for progress is creating the momentum. Being driven by progress is waiting for it. We cannot afford to wait for the momentum. In this room, this group of people, we've got to be the ones that create the momentum. And that ain't easy. That ain't easy. We're not in an easy industry. The industry is changing. And in spite of us not being in an easy industry, we got to be the momentum creators. So here's what I think it's going to take. First of all, I think if you're going to be a driven for progress leader, you better be a discerning leader. That means you better make really good decisions. Judgment is a really important quality for you. Have you heard of West Point, right? It's the Army's college. It's where all of the Army cadets go. Here's the thing, you've got these 18-year-olds that show up at West Point, and within the first few days, they've got to learn this thing called the cadet prayer. And the cadet prayer is something like this: God, help me make the harder right decisions rather than the easier wrong ones. That's tough, isn't it? That's a hard thing to do. Help me make the harder right decisions rather than the easier wrong ones. Here's why that prayer is so important. These 18-year-olds are about to be shipped off to some really challenging environments. They're going to be faced with some really intense things. And what's going to happen is, for the sake of self-protection, they might make the easier wrong decision and kind of backtrack a little bit. But what they're saying is, help me make the harder right ones. I think in our industry, where we are right now, we've got to be people that are committed to the harder right decisions. So the question I'd am curious about is, are we discerning enough to capture the possibilities ahead? Are we willing to make the harder right decisions in order to take advantage of the opportunities that are in front of us? And they're not small. What we're talking about, a $9 billion opportunity. Why not us? Why not us? Second one is, if we have to be discerning, but then we also have to be daring. That's another thing that's not really comfortable. It's not like we're born with some unique chromosome to be more risky than another person. That's not what daring is. Here's the thing. Daring is uncomfortable. Taking on risk is uncomfortable. You know why people do it anyway? You know why they do it anyway? Is it because of their chromosome makeup? No, it's because mission is bigger. It's because mission is first. It's because mission is over self-protection. So in the midst of uncertainty, we got to be able to take on those daring actions. We've got to be able to adopt some element of risk. Cool story is SpaceX does. Elon Musk is talking about going to the moon. He's talking about putting communities, I'm sorry, not even the moon, putting communities on Mars, isn't he? Didn't he just get hired by NASA? Didn't they just get a big NASA contract? So NASA has always been kind of the go-to when it comes to space exploration. Elon comes in and he starts to be daring enough to make these bold predictions about putting communities in Mars. And NASA just gave him like 130 million, billion, I don't know, something big. Project. NASA's now going to them. We want the industry to come to us. We want the industry to come to us. And we're going to have to be a little bit daring in order to do that, to establish that competitive advantage. What's going to make it tough is there's a lot of uncertainty out there. And here's the thing about uncertainty. We don't know what we don't know. We know a lot. And we're surrounded by a lot of people who know a lot, but there's a lot of things that we don't know that we don't know. And we're going to be unable to predict, and that's why you see that uncertainty. Are we daring enough to be able to see it through anyway? The last one. So we talked about discerning. We talked about being daring enough. We also need to be determined. And that means that we got to have some grit. We got to have some toughness in this room. We got to be determined. A few years ago, I got to write a book called The Anywhere Leader. And on that book, Heifer International, anybody ever heard of Heifer International? Oh, yeah? So Heifer International is a really cool nonprofit organization here in the US. And what they do is they go to these third world countries where these communities are just stricken with poverty. They got no roads, they got no schools, they got no running water, they have no health care, they got none of that kind of stuff. It's not fun. And what Heifer does is it donates 2 farm animals to these communities, a male and a female farm animal. And it goes to these communities and it trains them. It says, we're going to train you how to turn 2 farm animals into 100 farm animals. And when they turn them into 100 farm animals, then guess what? They sell the meat, they sell the fur, they sell the milk, and all of a sudden they're getting paid for this stuff. And when they get paid for this, it delivers economic transformation. They're building roads, they're building schools, they have running water. It's amazing. And so I got to go to Nepal, way up in the Himalayas, where a lot of these communities were getting these 2 farm animals. And I got to follow them because I wrote this book, Anywhere Leader, and there's been too many stories told about Jack Welch and Sam Walton at Walt Disney, and they said, we got some leadership stories for you. Go into the Himalayas. I said, well, that's interesting. So I got to travel with this lady in red here, and her name is Raji, and she got 2 goats, and they trained Raji and her community on how to turn them into 100 goats, and it transformed I saw how it transformed their community. But there's another community 5 miles away, and what Raji did is she took 2 of her 100 and she gifted them to that community that was 5 miles away, and she would go to that community and she would train them. And I got to travel with her. Raji is 4 foot 7 inches tall, and to get to that community, you had to cross a raging river. You know, for here, I'm 6'2". It came up to my waist. For Raji, it was like right here. And that crazy, fierce, small, tiny, but strong woman, I saw her courageously cross that river, and she was determined every week to make that tough track in order to help that community transform. That's the kind of determination it's going to take. We got a lot of work ahead of us in this industry. We're up to some incredible things. The timing is spectacular. Are we going to be determined enough? Are we going to have the grit to see it through, especially in this room?
Well, we are going towards the end, and we are talking about progress, right? And our market is pretty dark, right? Everybody, I talk, and we see whatever is happening, you know, in the industry, and but I never been so much positive in my life with orthodontists like I'm doing right now. Because finally, we have a solution, we have a direction that we are leading, and soon we're going to complete. For me, the future is bright. It's bright, it's not dark. Yes, we have some problems. It's not a problem. We have a different strategy, different business model. And they keep going. They keep going with different products as well. They keep going different products. Now they went public. They are big, and they are keeping doing all that. And yes, and somehow we are orthodontists, we can and somehow be influenced by that. Okay, not just straight to consumer, but we know that the aligning stores, and somehow they go around the law, and they go for different countries in UK, and they start everything again. So our industry, it's like you said, it's not stable at all. Look at the stocks, it's not stable at all. And we really don't know actually what's going to happen with all that. And if they cannot preview, can imagine us control their own company. So I just starting to look what is really happening next to us on the street as well. So even also, there is even nearby and in different countries everywhere, we have now aligner shop, aligner stores, all types, all brands. This is one, for example, in Spain. We have this in England as well. I don't know, in one of my courses, like I count like more than 20, 25. Just Brazil now will have a lot. They're going to have aligner stores everywhere from every type of business. Everybody going to put together, and somehow aligners store using, we know most of them use the most popular brand that we know. It's okay. It's okay. So in Brazil, they had another one. And then I have a question for you guys. You know, I have a question. Do you really want to play this game? It's competition with aligners, price war. You know, sometimes we can do something different, like the bike. You know, so I don't like usually to say a problem and don't give a solution. And I usually say for all my team members, they come to talk to me with a problem, and I say, hey, just if you come with a problem, you come with a solution. You don't even start to tell me a problem if you don't have at least one or two solutions, and then I will see which one we're going to do with some idea. So in somehow, what I did actually a few years ago, when I decided to leave, I was living in Spain actually. So in the last 5 years, I live in 3 different countries, and they were the largest market in aligners. So it's Brazil, Spain, and the United States. So when I decided that my kids they were growing up, so I'm going to start a new business here in the United States with all this darkness that we have. So I needed to do something different, determined, going to the progress. So what actually I did, I created, I call cloud orthodontics practice. So I don't have a physical practice as well. I don't have any dental chair. So you're going to have 2 options if you're young or if you want to start a new business, if you want to buy a new practice from now on, in my perspective. So if we see local, again, like you said, local, fixed, global, cloud, If we go on the middle, we have the orthodontist or the orthodontist. So that's what we usually do. We just take care of patients, right? And everybody's taking a war here for the patients, okay? So you want to get in this war, it's okay. We can face. We are super smart, and that's what we are doing. But maybe it is called boundaries spanning. You're going to conclude and explain better this leadership, how you can do that, because this is something that you can develop and expand opportunities. And here I'm going to conclude with the right definitions. I'm just showing actually exactly how I decided to do and have a different type of clients, So also, you can do the fabrications, and sometimes there is people with digital labs that they starting to do and producing models for local next to you. You can do that. It's already another business model, right? So, but we have, like I can see all the other companies with a lot of technology. So I never invest too much in producing or in my own practices for the others and doing the planning, but I also starting to see a different model and a different business that we could invest. So as a university, for example, I'm a faculty and I have all my formation, but it's something that I personally like to do. And listen, guys, some of you guys are going to see private practice. So we can coaching. We have the online courses, that's what I'm saying. So this expertise, I have done an online course for many, many years, helped me to know how I take care and how I train doctors with video conferences. That's why I brought this to my practice, and I use all this technology with the video conference. Guys, 5G technology is on the corner. Whatever we do will be 10 times faster. Whatever you do, open page, internet, mobile, these are going to change our industry. The Internet of the Things will be really real now. Everything will be real fast. The self-driving cars will be automatically. Sometimes some surgeries easily that we can remote and do, like surgeries in different countries. On the past, or there is some problems that you can't, because you can have a problem with the internet. When it's 5G, this is going to change. So they're going to change our relationship, the way we take care of patients, clients, and doctors as well. So I really believe if you go in the clinical part, in this center over here, interdisciplinary dentistry, and then comes SureSmile as well. That's the way, and I'm glad to see that even in the opening, I talk with a lot of people, it is a different, it's an opportunity that we need to take and embrace, and everybody somehow, like I was saying, I take advantage that the skills that we have. We are digital orthodontists. We have the skill that nobody else can do it. So what I'm just using and expanding all that. And then we have dental companies, for example, doing training. So there is corporations that you can consulting. So there is so many different ways that the orthodontists are going to survive. So you guys probably, I'm sure that SureSmile doctors, we do some of those. Maybe don't do all together. But there is so many ways that we can use our skills. And what gather everything together, in my opinion, is the SureSmile. With the SureSmile software and platform, the way they are working, and they are going the direction to be collaborative. And then will be a lot easier to connect everything in the dentistry. And then everything I'm trying to do and you are advising us to do, I'm going to explode. You're going to explode. So the future, yes, in my opinion, the future is bright. Okay? We don't need fences anymore. We don't need fences. Actually, we need to build bridges. We need to build bridges, open our mind, and try to use the imagination and try to connect it with all these different opportunities that we have now. Okay? Could you explain these boundary spanners?
Yeah, thank you for introducing that. So I love the idea of bridges because you're right, we do have to, we're not so siloed, you know, we are in this room can really take advantage of an opportunity to be boundary spanners. How many of you have heard of boundary spanners before? This term. It's big in social network, but here's the definition. They're innovative thinkers who embrace the role of linking an organization's internal network with external sources to drive a business's competitive edge. They're the people that reach across the aisle and connect with different kinds of people. So we've talked about this idea of this person, Dr. A, Dr. Dominant, SureSmile, and behind the SureSmile character, we've got a massive network. Everybody in this room could, should, maybe does have a massive network behind them, and we think that it's very, very important in the future of our business. So here's the deal. Dr. Dominant's going to be connected to laboratories, but not just laboratories. Dr. Dominant's going to be connected to people in those laboratories as well. Not only to the laboratories, but also to other specialists around the world. I think that there are several people involved in delivering patient care to Lisa. It's not just one orthodontist anymore. It's several doing different things, doing unique things that meet her needs, her unique needs. And those specialists are everywhere. And then lastly, you've got manufacturers, for example, and the manufacturer has lots of people. And so by the time you put this whole thing together, you've built this crazy cool network of influence. And not only are you connected to the labs and the manufacturers and the specialists, but you've also helped them connect to each other. And that is a very, very powerful model. And the person right in the middle is that boundary spanner. So here's a way maybe to think about it. If that's the way to go, and we think that it is because we think it's faster, we think it's more convenient, and we think there's better care there, then global's better than local. Global is better than local. If you're so consumed with local, start to expand that. Free is better than fixed. Nothing wrong with fixed. We know that fixed is really, really important. We know that the practice, the brick and mortar is really, really important, but let's go beyond that. Let's take care of our patients from anywhere. Customer-centric is better than clinic-centric. I think we talked about this earlier in Mike's section. You had, it was actually the SMU students that came in here and talked to us yesterday, and they talked about the difference between being performance management or practice management focused or customer experience focused. It's good to be practice management focused, but we really got to be about customer experience. We have to be about customer experience, and that's what this is. Customer centric over clinic centric. And then finally, boy, we've got to drive convenience. We've got to drive that in our practices, in our services, over complexity. We got to think about the Starbucks of the world, the Amazons of the world, the Ubers of the world, and you're off to a really good start. So here's the charge. There is a charge that we want to leave you with. And we think it's really, really important. You are the business. You are the business. And your business here is not just a clinic. It's an enterprise. Remember that network map? It's an enterprise. And an enterprise is limitless. We have unlimited opportunity ahead. So if you're bought into this, if you're committed to this, if you're committed with us to this, then we got some shades for you. I want everybody to put these things on. All right? If you're in. Because this is about building an enterprise. So let's go build the enterprise. And let's do some really amazing stuff differently than anybody else. Let's drive the industry with SureSmile. Dr. A?
It's perfect.
Thanks so much. Everyone, we'll see you next year.
Just right on time.
Good job, my friend. Way to go.
Mr. Kemp.